Somewhere in the world right now, roughly 1 in every 17,000 people is living without the pigment that colors almost everyone else's skin, hair, and eyes. In some countries, that number climbs to 1 in 1,400. They are called people with albinism, and they are among the rarest, most misunderstood, and in some places, most endangered human beings on the planet. Let's start with the science because it's not magic, it's genetics. Albinism is caused by a mutation in one of several genes responsible for producing melanin, the pigment that gives color to skin, hair, and eyes, and also plays a role in how the eyes develop and function. There isn't just one type of albinism. There are at least 7 recognized forms of oculocutaneous albinism alone, ranging from OCA1 to OCA7, each tied to a different gene, each producing a slightly different degree of pigment loss. Some people with albinism have skin so pale it appears almost translucent, with hair the color of fresh snow. Others have a pale gold or reddish tint to their hair, a variation sometimes called rufous albinism, more common in parts of southern Africa. Here's the key detail people often miss. Albinism is recessive. That means both parents have to carry the gene for a child to be born with it, and most of the time neither parent shows any signs of albinism themselves. They're simply carriers, unaware they're passing anything along until a child is born who looks strikingly different from them. Imagine that moment. A family expecting a baby that looks like them, and instead welcoming a child with white hair and pale skin and a family of deep brown skin and dark eyes. It's not a mutation caused by anything the parents did. It's just biology, the quiet reshuffling of genes that has always been part of being human. And this is where the story stops being just about biology and starts being about humanity, because how the world treats people with albinism varies wildly and in some places tragically. In parts of East Africa, Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, and neighboring countries, people with albinism face something almost unthinkable in the modern world. They are hunted. Dangerous myths persist in certain communities that body parts from a person with albinism carry magical power, that they can bring wealth or luck when used in rituals. These beliefs have fueled abductions, mutilations, and killings. Human rights organizations have documented hundreds of attacks over the past 2 decades. Children with albinism in some regions are kept indoors, escorted to school, hidden from public life, not because their families are ashamed, but because they are terrified. At the same time, people with albinism face a very real, very unglamorous enemy, the sun. Because their skin produces little to no melanin, they have almost no natural protection against ultraviolet radiation. In equatorial Africa, where sunlight is intense year-round, this translates into a public health crisis. Skin cancer rates among people with albinism in countries like Tanzania are dramatically elevated, and life expectancy in some regions has historically been reported as low as 30 to 40 years, not because of any flaw in their biology, but because of lack of access to sunscreen, protective clothing, and dermatological care. Something as simple as a $50 tube of sunscreen a month can be the difference between a manageable life and a fatal one. And yet, for many families, that's simply unaffordable. Vision is another challenge almost universal to albinism. Melanin plays a critical role in the development of the retina and the optic nerve during pregnancy. Without it, most people with albinism experience some degree of visual impairment, nystagmus, involuntary eye movement, extreme light sensitivity, and reduced sharpness of vision that glasses can only partially correct. Many are legally blind, but legally blind doesn't mean living in darkness, it means adapting. Many people with albinism read using magnification, use high-contrast materials, or rely on assistive technology, and go on to complete school, attend university, and build careers just like anyone else. And that's really the heart of this story, because for every tragic headline, there's a quieter, more powerful truth. People with albinism are not defined by their condition. They are models walking runways in Milan and New York. They are teachers, lawyers, musicians, athletes, and scientists. Sean Ross, a model with albinism, became one of the most recognizable faces in high fashion specifically because of how striking his appearance is. turning what the world once feared into something the world now celebrates. Salif Keita, the legendary Malian musician, has spent decades using his platform to fight the very persecution that people with albinism face in his own country, founding an organization dedicated to their protection. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts.